Welcome to Huddle Up, brought to you by the Fields Huddle Group. Jaguars senior writer John Oehser, NFL Network Analyst and former Jaguar Bucky Brooks, and senior reporter J.P. Shadrick bring you the latest on your Jacksonville Jaguars. Huddle Up starts right now.
Welcome in. It is Wednesday. It is Huddle Up with Bucky Brooks ahead of Week 9. The Jaguars and the Raiders coming up in Las Vegas. And coming up on the show, our last look at the bye week. We'll do a little self-scouting on Huddle Up. First look at the Las Vegas Raiders. They're 2-5. And how to slow down Maxx Crosby, the defensive end. Brock Bowers, the tight end, could be back out there after a couple games off to the side. And the Jaguars trying to, of course, cut down those self-inflicted mistakes. We'll get to all that. J.P. Shadrick, John Oehser. We're at the Hyundai Studios at the Miller Electric Center. Bucky Brooks is in Los Angeles. And this is the Bucky Brooks Bowl this week. Raiders, Jaguars. Absolutely it is, Bucky.
I don't know if we can say it's the Bucky Brooks Bowl when Bucky Brooks has like 5 to 7 teams that he can claim based on his playing and scouting career. So I don't think this would be a bowl.
I don't know. I went to Raiders.
An exhibition.
I went to Raiders.com the other day, and Bucky Brooks is all over that website too.
Well, I mean, I have an opinion. So sometimes I ask for the opinion. I give it. Like, they can get the opinion if you ask.
Notice he's wearing a black hoodie today.
Oh, it's the high school.
That's right.
Okay,
high school.
Great head coach.
I'll never.
He's wearing his great head coach hoodie.
It's one of the classic moments at the combine. John, you and I are there. Bucky's there. He sits down with us, does something, and then literally goes like 4 tables over, changes sweatshirts into a Raiders sweatshirt, and does their thing.
He's quick.
I would say
agile.
that, JP, and you're on the verge of doing these things. Like, I would say that was a gift bag. So I show up to do the interview, and they gifted me a sweatshirt. So like anyone who is a Southern gentleman who has great hospitality would do, I take it and I don it like you should. That's all. It was a gift. It is rude to not take gifts when they're given to you. It was a gift.
That's very nice.
You know what that is? That's a great hospitality cop-out. That's what a sweatshirt says.
It's just a gift.
GHC.
It's just a gift.
Wow. All right, so we'll get into the Raiders coming up in just a little bit. But, coming out of the bye week, we've I feel like this is always a strange one, John, because we talked about this the other day, you and I. Coming out of the bye week, it feels like we've covered all these things over and over. There's no game to review, but it's a lot of the same things we talked about, the inconsistencies, the drops, the penalties, and big picture things for this team. They're 4-3, but there's a lot of things they could be working on.
Well, and then you also had sort of the double whammy of the last 2 games before the bye for the Jags. They weren't the same game because everybody's lumped them together, and they didn't get blown out by Seattle. They weren't uncompetitive. Mm-hmm. But some of the same issues were the issues: the control and the controllables. The defensive line on the other side of the ball being very strong, and then losing. So it feels like it's been the same topic for 3 weeks in a row. The good thing is you've got a game this week, and it's a winnable game with different matchups. But to me, Bucky, the key still is around here this week, everybody's asking about different stuff, and Liam sort of has the same theme on all the answers. And I think he's right. Look, we can't be behind the chains offensively and expect to be a run-centric physical team. And you have to play smart in this league to be physical, right? Is there something there?
Yeah, there is something there. If you're going to be a run-first team, first down is the most important down. And whatever you elect to do on first down, whether that's run it or pass it, you have to get 4 yards because you have to be in 2nd and 6 to be able to be in what we call a mixed down situation, meaning you can use a mix of run or pass on those downs. If you're sitting at 2nd and 8, and then at 3rd or 6th plus, those are long yardage situations where the run is not an option. And what that allows the defense to do is to pin their ears back, attack the quarterback, bring exotic pressures, change with the exotic coverages, and all those things that make it very, very difficult to move the ball consistently in the NFL. The reason why the running game is important is because if you can stay ahead of the chains, it prevents teams from pinning their ears back and going after the quarterback. But you can't do it if you do not win first downs. So on some of those first downs, when they elect to pass, they must get a completion and they have to get positive yards because it's about staying on schedule. That allows you to stay with the running game.
So those drop passes and self-inflicted sacks, which Trevor had a few against the Rams, hurt the running game because it reduces opportunity to get there. I sort of love it. I think it was after the Rams game when Liam was asked about this and about the run-pass balance. And you can kind of see it on his face of, I'm in second and third and long all day, and I'm down 28.
Right.
So I'm supposed to run it. And as a play caller, he knows he's got to have run-pass balance. To me, one of the major things that I noticed and liked early was as long as games were relatively close, he was doing a nice job of staying with the run, even when it felt like it wasn't working.
Yeah.
That's hard. It's probably the hardest thing to do as a play caller is stay committed to that when every instinct is saying, we got to have 7 here. I thought he did a nice job with that. But, Bucky, when you're down 21 in the second half and you're in, second and 12, where's my run play? I'm tossing that legal pad away.
Yeah, I got to say this. I've been really impressed with Liam as a head coach for many reasons. And one of the reasons is his ability to be very transparent when it comes to his thought process calling plays. And he is right. As much as he would love to run it and to make sure that the team is balanced and physical and those things, if you have you lack the efficiency on early downs, it prevents you from being able to stick to your game plan. Now, some of the reasons why the Jags have been inefficient of late, self-inflicted mistakes, what you talk about, blown assignments, penalties, drop passes, not executing at a high level on those downs, is preventing this team from playing like it played earlier in the year when they were able to establish the run game, physically impose their will on people. The great thing about the bye week, it gives you an opportunity to reset, refocus, and kind of put a new plan in place to make sure that you stay on track going forward. I'm excited to see not only what they do against the Raiders, but how they attack the rest of the season. Now that they've taken all that information, cleaned up everything, and now are able to attack it with a fresh set of eyes.
And we'll get a good look at what the defense did as well during this bye week. Any changes there? And, Liam Cohen actually hinted today that they might look at some different scenarios in the secondary for coverages and players out there, take some load off some people. We'll see what happens with that. Obviously, the sack numbers aren't there. They have the least amount of sacks in the NFL. But they are still very high on the takeaway list because of what they did early in the season. They haven't had one the last 2 weeks. So where are you defensively with this team, Bucky?
Look, man, I still believe in the defense. I love what Anthony Campanile has done in terms of creating a mindset where these guys are turnover obsessed. And we know that the turnovers, winning the turnover battle is the easiest way to win games in this league. So they're doing a great job of knocking the ball loose, taking the ball away on tips and overthrows and those things. But much like we talked about on offense, about winning early downs and how that sets the table for the offense, same thing on defense. You got to be able to win on early downs so you can force them into long yardage situations, heat up the pass rush when you're playing coverage behind it, and then you're able to get those sacks, you're able to get those splash plays, the interceptions and all that. Earlier in the year, when we were stopping the run, we were getting the turnovers. It all works hand in hand. Win first down, and then the fun stuff happens on those other downs.
Yeah, I'm not worried about the defense because I don't think this is a top 5 defense. Statistically, you're not going to look at this defense at the end of the season and say, boy, they dominated every week. But because I think it's moving toward that personnel-wise. I don't think they were able to get this offseason everything they wanted to do done. But with who they've got, except for the Rams game, they've stopped the run pretty well. They stopped the run against Seattle. And they weren't as good against the run against LA, but it wasn't like it was Katie bar the door. It was,
sure.
When a team gets up the way the Rams did, it's easier for them to play call their way into good situations with the run. As long as they can stop the run, aggregately or whatever it is, as well as they did with the first 7 games, they're going, in these last 10 games, they're going to play good defense 8 or 9 times. And if you play good defense 8 or 9 times over the course of a game, you're going to get your opportunities to get turnovers Plus, I'm assuming they're going to get Trayvon back to full speed and Devin back to full speed at some point. Getting Trayvon back, I don't think they're going to be a great pass rushing team this year, but they're a more disruptive front consistently, and they wreck more things when he's in the game, healthy with two hands. So I do think there is a lot of hope for them to play better than average defense the rest of the year.
I think there's great hope. I think it's also about getting the personnel that you talked about, getting the guys back healthy and those things. The different combinations in the secondary, I think that's interesting. To me, my antenna goes off on. They're trying to find a way to get Travis Hunter on the field and trying to find a way to get him regularly on the field, maybe without so much of the hodgepodge scenarios that they've been doing early. So if you have different personnel groupings where you can call out Tiger or Bear or whatever it is where he's in, it's a much easier way to get him in and ensure that he's on the field, those set number of plays that they would like him to be on the field on defense.
Should he be, Bucky, and I was kind of laughing, against the Rams, I would have just yelled out Devontae. And I'm being a little facetious there, but is there a way, it's so hard because Devontae scored 3 touchdowns. So in retrospect, you'd like to say, well, you'd have liked for Travis to have been covering him on those 3 plays. But you can't do that. But is there a way to get him on best receiver in big situations? As soon as I say that, that's hard because they're mostly his own team. So is there a path to what I'm talking about, or is that just me being like football idiot, which I'm good at?
No. There are ways that you can do things. Like it's very similar to in basketball when you play a box and one where you kind of zone around one person. And so you have Travis Hunter potentially maybe working on the outside or in the slot, and you zone everything else. There's things that you can do to tap into some of those skills. But I also think he is just so good in terms of just the instincts, the reactions, playing in their traditional zones. I would just like him on the field more. And when you make the trade to get Greg Newsome, and you have Jordan Lewis, who is terrific at nickel, and you have Buster Brown, who is playing well, and Travis Hunter, maybe this becomes more of a dime team, or you do different things where maybe you have 3 linemen on the field and 2 linebackers and 7 DB, whatever it is, 6 DBs, but you use various combinations to get the best players on the field. And ultimately, it's about putting the best 11 on the field. This week reset this week is giving you a chance to evaluate the tape and find who are the best 11 for certain situations. Let's make sure we have those guys on the field in those key moments.
All right, guys, let's come back and get into this Raiders football team. 2-5. We'll touch on the
Bucky's
defense.
team. Yeah, Bucky's team.
One of Bucky's teams.
Bucky's team.
Yeah, one of them.
Surprised you're not wearing an eye patch today, Bucky. Back in a moment. Huddle Up with Bucky Brooks, brought to you by Fields Auto Group Jacksonville. See Fields first. Jacksonville's premier luxury auto group. Go to fieldsauto.com. It's Huddle Up with Bucky Brooks.
Hello, I'm Dan Fields. For over 50 years, Fields Auto Group has been America's premier family-owned luxury auto group, selling the most iconic brands in the world. We understand the luxury customer and provide an extraordinary car buying and service experience. It's not just about selling cars. Fields is focused on building lifelong relationships. We invite you to visit Fields and enjoy an honest and memorable luxury car buying experience.
Jags fans, this one's for you. If you've got MyGate rewards, you're already in the game. But now you've got a shot at the ultimate prize, meeting QB1 himself, Trevor Lawrence, at Everbank Stadium with 3 friends by your side. With the MyGate Rewards Gatorade Club, every 5 Gatorade items you purchase equals 1 entry toward your chance to win. Stack them up and score big. See store for details. Gear up for the season. Gates got you.
The kick is up. It's good! Field goals for Firehouse Subs are back. That means when the Jags score from deep, you do too. Anytime the Jags score a field goal that's 40 yards or more, you can get a free medium sub with the purchase of any other medium sub, online or in the app, for 4 days following the game. So cheer on the Jags, watch for the big kicks, and get your buy one, get one free medium sub at participating Firehouse Subs throughout Jacksonville when you use the app. The hottest subs in Duval. See firehousesubs.com for offer terms.
Hi, it's Sam Kavaris. You probably already know that Echo East Coast Transportation is the official transportation provider for the Jaguars. I've been a client for more than 30 years because they're from here, and like you, they've been Jaguar fans from the beginning. So for any prearranged transportation needs, call them at 904-631-5466 or find them online at ectjax.com and use the code SAM in the special instructions box for your 15% Jaguars discount. And if you want to talk Jaguars, they can do that too.
Preacher, for sure. Just the strain, the relentless effort, the batted balls. I mean, they lead the National Football League right now in tipped balls as a defense, as a group. So long, so long that initially, like if your eyes as a quarterback are maybe at your number one read right away, and it's like quick game or whatever it is, he does a great job of getting his hands on balls. And then if it is a little bit of a longer developing pass play, well, that's when you just kind of see him relentlessly strain. And, he's just so long in terms of his legs, the bounding, his ability to get to the quarterback. And then the way he's played the run. They've played the run well as a defense.
Liam Cohen, earlier today, Jaguars head coach, the full press conference at Jaguars.com and Jaguars YouTube. And welcome back to Huddle Up with Bucky Brooks. And if you want customized Jags furniture for your home, check out ZipChair.com and browse all customizable options. ZipChair, furniture for fans. JP Shadrick, John Ogier, and yes, Bucky Brooks. On Jaguars Raiders Week, Allegiant Stadium in Las Vegas. The site, 4:05 Eastern kickoff time this Sunday in Week 9. Second straight year the Jaguars have been in Las Vegas. And they're going to face this Maxx Crosby-led defense. That's who Liam Cohen was referencing there. 4 sacks on the season for Crosby, 9 quarterback hits. He still plays like every down, right, Bucky? What's the story with Maxx this year?
Look, man, when he plays at a high level. He is a high motor player, a guy that is relentless in his pursuit of the quarterback. He's unique because he's a power rusher, so he can give you problems if you're not able to set and anchor versus him. And then he kind of sets the table for the rest of the defense. When you talk about a guy playing with the kind of energy that you want to see from a A-level player, that is what Maxx Crosby does. And as he gets going, the rest of the team feeds off his competitiveness, his toughness, all that energetic stuff that he brings to the table.
Yeah, there's a lot of respect in this building for him, and rightfully so. And it's what makes the Raiders, to me, dangerous. I get that they're 2-5, but they have game wrecker and playmaker on offense.
Mm-hmm.
So and it's a 2-5 team, but they're playing under a first-year head coach, and Pete Carroll. This is not going to be a situation where the 2-5 team is saying, okay, you're 4-3. Come on in here and take the game and let's go home and, we'll go back to the desert. I mean, I think this is going to be a tough game, partially because the Raiders team that has gotten blown out wasn't the same Raiders team that's going to be on the field. I'm jumping ahead, but when you have Brock Bowers in the game, they have a weapon that they can use. So I don't think this is a gimme at all, even though my sense is a lot of fans have this circled. So
yeah, I think you have to be really careful in these games. 2-5, when you look at the record, it's going to be hard for the outside world to view this as a very competitive game, but we see it each and every week. We saw the New York Jets knock off the Cincinnati Bengals. Upsets happen in this league all the time. To me, this is a test of the maturity of the Jaguars in terms of being able to go on the road, take care of business against a team that maybe internally you say, hey, we need to get this, we should get this, and we're a better team. The problem that you have is this is a team that's coming off a 31-0 loss who had a bye week, and they're getting their pieces back. So not only are they smarting from that embarrassing loss, they're bringing back a better team when they show up on Sunday. Brock Bowers, Ashton Genty, those guys can be problematic because they're right in the middle of the field. And so having a plan to deal with the tight end while also snuffing out the running game, that is where it has to start on defense. And then it's about making sure that on offense, you take care of Crosby, and you also got to take care of Devin White, the Mike linebacker that has been a Pro Bowl player at Tampa. He is also having a really good year and kind of finding himself back. to being a guy that can be a Pro Bowl contender.
Is this a Raiders defensive line that the Jags O-line can handle? Can they push him around physically and get back to that style of play?
Well, I think so. I mean, I think outside of Maxx Crosby is the headliner, but the rest of those guys are still trying to find their way. They have really good players. For Malcolm Kuntz is one that you have to keep an eye on, but it's not the same. It's not like those two teams that you're just coming off of playing. One, when you play the Seattle Seahawks, you're talking about those young, athletic, hungry defenders that can dominate. And then with the Rams, look, man, a lot to be said for what they have in Jared Verse and Brian Young and some of those other guys. Not quite the same, even though Maxx Crosby is, look, an all-pro player in his own right.
Yeah, I think this is the tailor-made example and probably a good opportunity for the Jaguars in this sense. I don't think the offensive line is like, wow, we are physically dominant and better than the Raiders' defensive line. But I think it's a matchup where if the Jaguars get back to playing like they did early in the season, they handled some fine lines. They didn't handle the Seahawks line, but that might be the best and the most difficult matchup they play all year. But, you know, it all goes back to what we talked about at the top of the show. If this line plays in decent situations, as in not 2nd and 12, not with receivers dropping the ball, if it plays consistently early, it's a defensive line that this team can handle. This team can handle good defensive lines if it doesn't give away situations throughout the entire game. So, yeah, you can get back to that, but don't face 2nd and 13 on your second offensive play.
Yeah.
I mean, some of that was on Trevor the other day.
Sure.
So,
absolutely.
Stay smart and stay physical, and this is a game you can win by just playing to your potential as an offensive line.
All right, guys, we'll come back in a moment and flip it around the other side, dig deeper on Brock Bowers and Ashton Genty and Geno Smith and the receivers for the Las Vegas Raiders, who will entertain the Jacksonville Jaguars this Sunday. And the Jags, of course, are gearing up to face the Chargers Sunday, November 16th. It's the annual Salute to Service game. Join us as we honor and celebrate the brave men and women of our military all game long. Get your seats now, jaguars.com/tickets, or call 904-633-2000. This is Huddle Up with Bucky Brooks.
Hello, I'm Dan Fields. Finally, inventories and prices are customer friendly.
That's because summer's here, so let's keep it real at the Field Summer Sales Event.
We have vehicles on the ground and ready to go. All new makes and models to choose from, even electric cars and SUVs. Stop searching for your next luxury vehicle and see Fields first.
And get an incredible offer like this.
Right now, save up to $10,000 on remaining new 2024 Porsche models in stock at Porsche Jacksonville. Go to PorscheJacksonville.com.
It's game time, Jaguars fans. This season, feed your fandom with the Jaguars sub from Publix, the official supermarket of your Jacksonville Jaguars. Wow! Sink your teeth into crispy chicken tenders, boar's head bacon, melted cheddar, sweet coleslaw, and smoky barbecue mayo, all stacked on a fresh white roll. Taste the hype only at Jacksonville Publix locations. Publix, where shopping is a pleasure.
Watch the game, host your crew, or just unwind at BC Grill and Patio at Sheridan Jacksonville, part of the Marriott family of hotels. Enjoy craft cocktails, tasty bites, and indoor-outdoor seating perfect for watch parties, happy hours, and events. Mention this radio ad for 10% off food and drinks. Visit SheridanJacksonville.com or call 904-564-4772.
Chelsea here, ready to upgrade your windows or patio doors? During our fall savings month, get 20% off your replacement windows and patio doors. Plus, enjoy 0 down, 0 payments, or 0 interest for 12 months. Our Acclaim Impact windows are built for Florida homes, designed to help you save on energy bills by maintaining indoor temperatures year-round. Offer ends October 31st. Restrictions apply. Visit bestwindowsflorida.com to schedule your free in-home consultation. License number CGC 1527613. Renewal by Anderson, where comfort meets savings.
He gets in and out of breaks so well. I know he was like 40-something inch vertical coming out of high school. He's a very good athlete. He's like what you define as a football player. I mean, he just has a knack for getting open. He's harder to tackle than maybe just looking at the tape. Like he'll break tackles, drag people down. He knows how to wiggle and separate, and also the contested catch ability. So, very good player. Have a lot of respect for him.
It's Liam Cohen discussing Brock Bowers, the Raiders tight end, who is expected to be back on the field this week after missing 3 weeks of action. And welcome back. It's Huddle Up with Bucky Brooks, JP Shadrick, John Oehser, and yes, Bucky Brooks.
Bucky Brooks.
Jaguars Raiders coming up this Sunday. And now time for the defensive coverage of the game presented by GEHA, Government Employees Health Association, benefits for federal employees and retirees. And we take a closer look at this Raiders offense that the Jaguars will have to defend. And yeah, Brock Bowers, well, he did it to this team last year in Vegas, 11 catches on 13 targets against the Jaguars for 99 yards last season. So Jags fans at least have seen this up close and personal if he gets going. And now he's coming back off injury after missing 3 games. The tight end, where does he rank around the league in terms of talent, Bucky?
He's the best. I mean, I think everyone would say coming off the season that he had last year where he shattered rookie records, reestablished Mike Ditka's receiving record for rookie tight ends. He is everything that you want in a position. He's a terrific pass catcher, outstanding route runner, can get down the seam and make big plays, but also can do all of the fun, creative stuff that you want to see a tight end do in today's game. He is a problem. And you mentioned the 11 catches last year, the 99 yards, and even though it doesn't seem like a lot of production, like 9 yards a catch, it's just annoying that whenever they need a play, they can find them. And it's not a coincidence that the quarterback, Geno Smith, has been struggling with turnovers without Brock Bowers being in the lineup. Now you put Brock Bowers in the lineup, you have Ashton Jeanty in the lineup. We're going to face a much different Raiders team than the one that has been showing up the last few weeks. That's why everyone has to be on point. You can't take this team lightly. You need to bring the energy to get this done, because this is a big game for the Jags. You want to get ahead of the curve. You have this one this week, and we're not looking too far ahead. You have the Texans next week. You want to make sure that you're stacking wins, because the magic number is 10 if we're talking about this team getting into the playoffs.
I think it's a mammoth game. I mean, it's I think there are gettable games in the second half. There are some that are going to be tough. But this is one that, again, on paper, is supposed to be gettable. And I'm with Bucky. All this league stuff that happens in the NFL that makes these games sneaky hard, to me, makes this game sneaky hard. I think Bowers is probably the biggest factor. Not only did he miss 3 games, he was beat up. He has not had a 100-yard game since week 1, but he had 131 catches. For 1,400 yards last year.
Right.
Which means consistently on a very pedestrian team, he gets you 100. So it's a little unrealistic. It's unrealistic to think that you're going to hold him to the 30 or 35 if he's back. And as you said, when you're watching him, I take notes in the press box, and every time last year he caught the ball, you'd sort of just throw your pen up and be like, "Here we go again."
Right.
And that's sometimes more debilitating or discouraging than giving up one big play. Because you think, okay, hey, it's 3rd and 7. We're in front of the chains. We did it.
We've seen Kelsey do that to this team
and
too.
And now it's 1st and 10, and we're going again. So, Bucky, I think defensively for the Jaguars, they have to. It's back to the situation for them where I think they're going to start getting turnover opportunities again. They haven't had any the last couple of weeks because of the teams they were playing. Against Geno, you're going to get some opportunities. And I always call these kind of games, you don't want to have the camera focused on a defensive player hitting the ground. I should have had that one. Because those only come along maybe once a quarter. You got to catch them. You can't be slapping the ground if you're a defensive player this week.
Yeah, it really puts the Jaguars in a bind with Brock Bowers coming back. And one of the reasons you're in a bind is because when you play zone coverage, it's hard to snug up to the tight end. You can't get tight coverage on him. So you can't completely take him out of the game plan. And he is so good that he's going to find the voids in the zone. Anthony Campanile has to kind of figure out, okay, how do we take care of him without compromising what we'd like to do and what we've proven to be very, very good at, which is play zone coverage, vision and break coverage, and those things. They have shown the ability to mix up a little man-to-man, but that's not what they want to live in. That chess match that Campanile plays with Chip Kelly is going to be pivotal because you cannot allow number 89 to get comfortable, because that will help Geno Smith get out of the slump that he's been being in for the entire season.
I'll say this, though, and I know this segment is Raiders Raiders-centric, but sort of big picture going into the second half of the season. Look, the Jaguars' defense, for the most part, except for the Rams, has been fine. This team has to be more explosive offensively, the Jags. We're sort of talking details about the defense, and they gave up 13 first downs against Seattle. Mm-hmm. A couple of big plays, but they held that team to 20. Before the season, if you had told me how the Jaguars get to the playoffs, I didn't think they were going to be the most consistent offensive team in the NFL, but I thought they would be an explosive offensive team. And they just haven't. They have to catch the ball, and they have to have more big plays offensively. If they hold the Raiders to 20, if they hold teams to 20 the rest of the season with this defense and get a turnover, they should win most of the games. The offense has to be better than it has been. And it's a little off topic, I get it, but
it is, because
as we were grinding into the defense just then, Bucky, that's what I kept going back to. Defense has been fine.
Yeah, the defense has been good, and in fact, John, when I was playing, I think the magic number was 17. They used to say, like, if you're playing great defense, that's 17 points per game allowed is going to put you in the top 5 to 7 teams in the league on most years.
Right, and they gave up 20 to Seattle. Seattle's a great offense. Yeah. They gave up 20. That's enough.
Yeah, and so that is incumbent upon the offense. They got to find a way to produce more plays. The problem is, you talk about the explosive plays. How do the explosive plays happen? Well, it happens when you're running the ball, and then when you throw a play-action pass, you're able to throw it over the top of the defense. Too often this year, we're not connecting on those.
Right.
Those winners that have been dialed up, that Liam says, hey, I got 2 or 3 chances a game to call these plays. They're not cashing it in. Either it's an inaccurate throw, a drop pass, something happens up front, and the quarterback gets hit. We have got to find a way to cash these lottery tickets so we can score. But we're not going to be an explosive offense until we find a way to score from distance. It's just too hard to drive the length of the field in this league.
All right, let's come back.
Sorry, JP. I know that deviated from your path, so I apologize for that.
No, there's no path.
Oh, there's a path.
There's no path.
There's a little path.
We're just wandering aimlessly through the desert.
The path is right here, and I deviated from the path.
We're wandering aimlessly towards Las Vegas in the desert. We're back in a moment, and we'll get our final thoughts ahead of this Bucky Brooks Bowl. The Raiders and the Jaguars coming up from Allegiant Stadium in Las Vegas. It's Huddle Up with Bucky Brooks.
Hello, I'm Dan Fields. Finally, inventories and prices are customer friendly.
That's because summer's here, so let's keep it real at the Field Summer Sales Event.
New inventory is arriving daily. All new makes and models to choose from, even electric cars and SUVs.
Visit Fields today and find the fit for you.
And get an incredible offer like this.
For a limited time, get $3,000 off all Lexus TX350s in stock at Lexus of Jacksonville and Lexus of Orange Park.
What's the best part about lawn care during the winter? You can give it a rest. Lawns only need watering up to once a week. Really, that's it. Using less water means you're saving time and money that you can put towards something else. Before you run your sprinklers, remember, give it a rest and only water up to once a week. For more information, visit waterlessflorida.com.
Before you found out about Breeze Airways nonstop routes, your flight up north may have gone something like this. Drive to the airport, fly west to a hub, lay over for 4 hours, realize you need to take a shuttle to the other terminal, board another flight north, get a rental car, drive another hour, get there, exhausted. But now you can book a straight shot Breeze flight to Providence on a nice plane with nice people for a nice price. Breeze Airways, seriously nice.
Floridians, do you know how close you are to freshness? It's not a plane or a ship ride away. It's not across an ocean or over the equator. It's not even a far drive. The peak of freshness is at your grocery store, and it's called Fresh from Florida. Fresh from Florida is local produce grown by farmers right here in our own state, meaning it's always fresh, always in season, and always mouth-wateringly good. Look for the sunny Fresh from Florida logo or ask for it by name where you shop.
all you know as a player and as a coach is to just keep pushing through. That there's going to be a breakthrough at some point here to just connect and doing it. And you watch games from last year, because obviously you're watching the Raiders from last year and you're watching big plays being made. And all right, man, like just it has to go happen as much as it can in practice, but also, in the game, it's got to come to life for that connection to truly go the way that it needs to go. So, it takes work, it takes patience, it takes time, and you're just hopeful that it's going to be able to come to life here.
Liam Cohen, Jaguars head coach earlier today, discussing Brian Thomas Jr. moving forward, Jaguars wide receiver. Welcome back. Final moments of Huddle Up with Bucky Brooks, brought to you by Fields Auto Group Jacksonville. See Fields first, Jacksonville's premier luxury auto group. Go to fieldsauto.com. Raiders, Jaguars coming up. Raiders at 2-5, Jaguars at 4-3. Both the Jaguars coming off the bye week. And another trip out west for this team. They fared well last time in San Francisco, and now they're trying to get the Raiders to get back on track after dropping 2 in a row. So here we are. This is a big swing game. 4 of the next 5 games, by the way, are on the road. Those 4 are against teams with losing records right now. Mm-hmm. And, the one in the middle is the Chargers coming here, and the other 4 are away. So big part of the schedule, John, to really kind of get your footing back, right? Get back on track, on the winning track. And then, of course, these conference AFC games coming up are huge when it comes down to tiebreakers and things at the end.
Yeah, look, this game is not a must-win, because if you lose, you're 4-4, and if you win the last 9, you're 13-4. So it's not a must-win. But it is big to show you, and what I'm going to say takes a little bit of explanation. If you lose it, it doesn't mean that you can't turn yourself into a playoff team this year. But if you go out there and you don't handle this, it means that right now you're not. I mean, right now you're not a team that goes and wins these games. And if you're going to be a playoff team, this is the kind of team that you've got to go win. It's not an easy matchup, but they're important professional football type games where you've got to go handle it. You've got to win on the road. Bucky, I'm not worried about this team functioning on the road. They've shown they were fine functioning against Cincinnati, San Francisco. They can go on the road. I think this team can play with all but maybe the top couple of teams, and maybe even the top teams. The Chiefs might be as good as anybody right now. But they've got to figure out a way to play how they want to play, meaning not be behind the sticks. Be the more physical team. I thought they were the most physical team on the field for the first 5 games of the season, and they were 4-1. Mm-hmm. I don't think you can say that about the last 2 games. I'm not surprised they weren't the most physical against Seattle, because that team might physical their way to the Super Bowl. But overall, if they get back to what they were doing and play smarter, there's no reason they can't go win this type of game 5 or 6 times the rest of the season. But I sound like a coach, Mr. Cliche. It's about themselves. They've got to get back to playing how they want to play, which I'm not sure they did the last 2 weeks, especially the last week.
No, they haven't. Look, the last week, I think you have to throw out. We talked about a bury the ball type game in terms of you just have a bad game. That was a stinker, but they have to get back on track. If we talk about using the formula that has worked for so long in the National Football League, let's just see if we can go 3-1 every quarter. Well, this is one of the ones that when you're looking on the schedule, you're like, man, this should be one of the ones that we put in the win column. And that's not being disrespectful to the Raiders, but that's just what it is. You talk about having a schedule where you have some losing teams on the horizon. You want to knock off those teams, win the games that you're supposed to win, and then find a way to compete or steal 1 or 2 down the stretch. This is one that I don't want to say, hey, this is a must win, but it's about as close to a must-win as we can get in the middle of the regular season. You need to stack these W's, because we've sat here before years and years on end, and we've we've regretted losing some of these games that were winnable, because it's come back to hurt us at the end of the year when we were sitting on the outside looking in, when we easily could have won 1 or 2 to get into the tournament.
Yeah, JP, I believe, and I've said over and over again, I think this regime, this direction that it started in January, I think it's going places regardless of what happens on Sunday. I think this These guys are doing it right, and they're going to move toward being an elite team. But they're not an elite team yet. They are a team trying to get to elite. And this season, you're going to have games like you had against the Rams. The key for a team that is in this stage of a build to get to the postseason is to respond to those and come back and, like Bucky said, beat the winnables. Get all the winnables and then sneak a couple. And you might even lose one of the ones you're supposed to get. But you've got to get most of these in order to get to where you want to go, in order to get to that 10 wins. So in that respect, not must win, but boy,
need it.
Right now, I always laugh. The next one's always a must win, Bucky. But right now, boy, this would feel like a punch in the gut if you don't get it.
It would. It sounds like a must win to me, JP. That's what it sounds like.
Yeah.
It sounds like it's a gotta have it win. Burn the boats. You got to find a way to get this one, because this one sets up the next few weeks when we talk about it. Like you talk about this one, you talk about Houston, you talk about the Chargers. Eventually we go to Arizona. I mean, this is a pivotal stretch. You talk about being able to get ahead of it, being on the graphic, as we talk about the last month of the season for the postseason. You got to call a spade a spade. It is time to win some of these games. You have to win this one to really set yourself up to play those meaningful games down the stretch in December.
It walks like a duck. It talks like a duck. It's probably a duck. That means it sounds like a must-win. It's walking around like a must-win, and it's probably a must-win.
And in a lot of sports, the difference between 5-3 and 4-4 is not a big deal. In a 17-game season, the difference between 5-3 and 4-4 is a big deal. I mean, so that's what this game is. It's a duck.
It certainly is. Bucky, are you driving or flying to Vegas? You're right over there. Pretty close, right?
I am going to be flying.
Oh, okay.
I'm not driving. I'm flying. I'm actually coming. I'm going to see the Horns and the Commodores. Maybe the best team in the SEC, the Vanderbilt Commodores.
Wow.
I want to take on UT, so I'm going to go see that game on Saturday.
JP is one of these guys who thinks everything that's not where he is a short distance. It's not like you can just
It's like 3 hours,
walk
isn't it? It's like close.
Right. It's not like Jacksonville and Jack's Beach. I mean, it's just because it's out west doesn't mean it's next to each other.
Somewhere over there.
Hey, just hike up to Kent.
There's probably a mountain or something.
Hey, just hike up to Frisco. Well,
So you're going to see the Doors, man. Wow. That's quite a story this year.
It is. Going to see him. Clark Lee. Maybe the last time he dons, the V.
Is he going to be donning purple and gold next year, or is he going to be donning orange and blue, or any of these other colors? Who knows?
I mean, a lot of choices.
That's an epic job he's done at Vanderbilt.
It really is.
But my buddies went to Vanderbilt, and it's hard to win there.
I mean, James Franklin did it for a couple years, but that was...
But not to this degree.
Yeah, no, this is different. They're top 10 for the first time since World War II. I mean, this is different stuff. Bucky, great show.
Cool. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Nice job, Buck.
It's Bucky Brooks joining us the Bucky Brooks Bowl this Sunday, Allegiant Stadium in Las Vegas. The Jaguars and the Raiders. Bucky Brooks, John Oehser. I'm JP Shadrick. Our thanks to Joe Fortunato and Brett Reber. And thanks to you for watching Huddle Up with Bucky Brooks.